And now, Kyle and Steven present another episode of the Go F Yourself podcast.
It's Fix.
Really? Well, that's embarrassing.
The Go Fix Yourself podcast.
Welcome to the Go Fix Yourself podcast, the podcast where we are trying to learn stuff from other people. But today, we're just learning it from each other. I'm your co-host, Stephen Cornfield, and sitting digitally across from me for the final time of the summer. I'm going to say that. It's the final time. Next week, we will have guests, but the final time we are digitally across from each other is Kyle Redding.
What is going on, everybody? I'm thrilled to be here. I'm getting phone calls already. I gotta mute my phone. This is insane, but yeah, we're
such
here
a popular
for
guy.
I know it's it's Jennifer Lawrence again. Jesus. Yeah, we are here for our what we'll say the final time of the summer, because we've been doing a couple of back-to-back series where we just talk, and I've just been getting praised left and right about people just loving these episodes because they're like, you guys just make me feel good about myself because
you guys are pieces of shit.
Yeah. So we'll be back in the saddle next week with some guests. Mm-hmm. We got a couple lined up. We got a couple that are getting edited right now. So it's going to be perfect.
Will be Kyle Harrington, and he's fixing our knowledge on sound baths. And what they are and why he does it and why he added that to his business, which amazing. First off, I've never done I still haven't done a sound bath. I'm really curious about it. But just he gave us a little demonstration in the studio, so you'll hear that on the podcast and watch it on the YouTube. And I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen it yet, but the whole time he was playing the bowls, because he plays crystal singing bowls, and I don't want to give too much away, but I think my face, I was like smiling because it was like hitting something in my body that just like tickled my fancy or something.
Where was it hitting you?
My balls. My ball sack. No, I don't honestly, I don't really remember. I just remember feeling like laughing. I don't know. It was the weirdest thing. So I'm excited for that episode. After that, we have a stand-up comedian, Justin Sands. He's coming in. And then we have Tyler Howie, who is owner of El Gringos, but also coming out with a new restaurant. So we have been doing podcasts with people, and so we're just kind of stocking them up so we can put those out and they can be ready for the public. Yeah. But this is the last time. Well, not the last time we're going to be digitally across from each other. And that's something we can talk about because this right here, so if you're not watching on YouTube, you can see that I'm in my garage and Kyle's in his office. And I say garage because this is my garoffice.
Garoffice.
Yeah, that Alicia came up with that. Yeah, because I was like, should we call it like an offage?
Yeah, I was going to say offage. I like that one.
That's what I came up with. And she's like, oh, garoffice. And I was like, oh, that's actually pretty good. So we just started calling it garoffice. And it kind of works. So yeah, you'll see, my garage door over there. Yeah.
I mean, we're going to wrap up this little thing that we're doing here, and it doesn't mean we'll never do these again because we got, I know we always say it, but we do have a lot of guests coming in and we're really excited, but we just wanted to hop on here, talk about a few things. Summer's kind of winding down for everybody. We're now mid-August. And in Alaska, that means everybody started to head for fall and get ready for the cold and the dark. And so that's kind of like where I feel like you and I both flourish in some ways. Because 100%. Summer is go, have fun, go eat and drink and do all these and be merry.
You got it. And if it's sunny, you got to get outside, go travel, go to Seward, go
camping
to Homer.
on the weekends. Yeah,
and like
forest
fair,
golf, state fair, and golf is up there. And so once that winds down, it's like you and I kind of are like, we got to make something of ourselves because we were just big pieces of garbage for 3 months. And so
I'm excited. I'm working on. It's actually funny because we're talking about this today. So of course this is Monday, the 14th, and this is going to come out the 15th. So it's just the day before. I'm working on a short film. We're going to probably film it in the next few months, and so that I'm excited about. I'm excited about this podcast again because I feel like the summer when it's just been like me and you, we haven't really had a direction, right? I like having the guests on. I like being able to like have a conversation, but then also like I've also taken a step back from social media for Go Fix Yourself because I'm like, what do people want to see? What do people want to, when they come to our social media? And so summer has been nice to get out and do stuff. But like you said, like fall is the time to start doing shit because winter is coming. That's not all that's coming.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, well, okay. Let me rephrase.
Speaking of coming, I've been listening to We Came as Romans.
Yeah, that was still good. Last night, Aiden's like reading this like magazine or something, and he's like, "Kyle, what do you think about me watching Game of Thrones?" And I was like, "Buddy,
I love how he asked you."
Well, because a lot of shows that we like, I have a lot of the stuff locked down, like for watching rated R or above. Some of the things have locks or whatever. And he's like, "What do you think about me watching that?" Mm-hmm. What? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, but he could still like go to friends and start watching
for sure.
But I like how he asked
I can't control that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I feel like that show's maybe just a little much for you right now. And he's like, "Why? It's just about dragons." And I'm like, sure. I mean, like Showgirls is about dancing. Like,
yeah. Just Coyote Ugly is about drinking.
Yeah.
I think, if it was just like the violence and the dragons,
for sure,
I think it'd be good. But man, the sex stuff, the nudity, like
the rape, the incest, all of that stuff,
right? All that shit. Oh, especially, oh my god,
yes.
I forgot about the incest and rapes. Oh my gosh, yeah, that show it's a great show, but man, I just don't know.
When you're an adult, obviously, you can handle that and realize, like, hey, this is not like a good thing to do, and like this isn't normal. But as a child, like that's not what I want to be imprinting on his brain. Is like, you know what, my parents gave me the A-OK,
Yeah,
and then so I told him that essentially it was like, there's a lot of stuff in there that I think is a little mature for you.
Yeah,
and so
how did he respond to that?
Like what? Like what's too mature for me?
Boobs,
vaginas,
a lot of penises.
Well, I certainly didn't sell him. I certainly didn't deter lots of nudity.
Girls. Yeah. He's like, well, that sounds awesome, Dad.
Yeah, I'm in. So where's the negatives, right? Like, what are we doing here? So, I just thought that was funny, and only because you said winter is coming. I was like, that was such a good show, and that's what he's like. Did you watch it? And I said, yes, I did watch it. Was it really good?
Ending last season ruined it.
Well, I was just like, how do you explain something's really good and awesome, and then be like, you can't watch it?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I've never thought about that. But when do you introduce that? How old is he? He's 13.
He just turned 14. Yeah.
Okay, so he's 14. When are you going to be like, R-rated movies with a sex scene okay? Or is it like slowly maybe be like, all right, this sex scene or, this R-rated movie with this sex scene and like the violence isn't as bad as, this, right?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones is also like, it's a lot. There's how many seasons? 9, 6?
Something like that, yeah.
8, whatever seasons.
All of them.
And then there's like, they're like hour and a half episodes. Like they're really long, insane. Yeah. And so like starting slowly, like where do you start and what age is that? I just don't want to know. Like, is that 16?
I just feel like 16's a good time where you really are, you still probably need to be with the kid to kind of guide them to an extent on like media. But I mean, once they're 17, they can go see a rated R movie without an adult.
True. Yeah. So or NC-17, really.
Yeah. So it's wild. And anyways, back to our our main thing essentially was winter is coming.
Yeah.
What are we doing? You got a short film that you're going to work on. Who's involved?
Not sure yet. I just talked to my buddy Brad about it, and the
Bradford?
whole Bradford Jackson.
It's a great name.
It's
a Hollywood name.
That's exactly what it is, and I think that's why he uses it. Well, it's also his fucking name, Stephen.
Yeah,
and that's probably why he uses it, because it's on his fucking license.
We could go by Brad.
No, we found we had a kindred spirit with like wanting to see the film incentive tax come back up here, right? Remember when movies were coming up and people were buying land and building studios, and since we're both filmmakers, we were like, man, we really want to see that again. And we know some politicians who are interested in doing that as well, but we really want to start building the community up here. So we're actually, this week we are doing a filmmaker meetup at Willowass Social Thursdays, 7 to 9. This Thursday, that's it. So it's like basically like, let's get the community together, let's kind of start inspiring each other. And then basically we were like, we just need to start making stuff. So we're going to start making stuff, and so we can basically package that into taking it to our local government, our governor, whatever, and just being like, look, this is where the community is heading, and tourism is down, and we need another revenue for the state. So this is a possibility. Now, of course, film incentive tax, like don't like gain money immediately. It's like takes a couple years to kind of get situated and people to start bringing up studios and whatnot. But we'd love to see that happen. So that's our goal. So we're going to work on a short film. He's working on a feature film. I'm going to work on another short film in the summer. And so we're just going to go for it and see what happens. So working on that. But I'm also just excited about this podcast because we have ideas, because like, we're having guests on. We're also going to be doing digital guests, which I'm excited about, because that opens up, people that are outside of Alaska that can teach us on what they're doing. And so excited about that. And I like to have something set up for the winter. I'm not a big winter. We've talked about this on here. I'm not a big winter guy. You're not a big winter guy either.
Yeah, I'm snow machining every weekend. I'm hitting the slopes.
Yeah. Wow, nice, dude.
Doing a lot of survivalist stuff, building shelters.
Yeah, really.
I'm pretty busy in the winter, to be honest.
Man,
no, but
golf in the summer, survivalist,
surviving in the winter. That brings up a good point, because I think, as much as we love the studio aspect and being live, it brings up the idea of you and I, if we have plans to stay in Alaska forever. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that I do. I just don't know sometimes. And so there's two things to that. Is if me and the fam decide to ever export out of Alaska, we will have this digital aspect. And I've thought of this where, let's say the podcast is doing well, and it's like, what if we booked 20 guests in a month, and then I fly up for a month, we record for a month or two, and then I fly back or something. And so we still have live and we still have digital, but it's been on my mind a lot, because
that's so funny that you're there, because I have felt that too. Moving.
Yeah. It's
it's
I'm
weird. Kind of curious, because I have my own reasons why I've been thinking about it and what has been in my head about it. I'm definitely not throwing it out. I am still a firm believer of like building something, in Alaska. I'm very proud to be an Alaskan, and building something here and getting started and building up the community here. But there is something to say about going somewhere else and learning, or and then bringing it back, or just going somewhere else and being, you have more opportunities, potentially. Opportunity here for sure, but there's a little different. So I'm curious, because this has been in my brain too.
Yeah.
Where are you thinking? What are you thinking? And why? Where?
So,
what? Why?
Where? What? Why? I'll flip it around a little bit. I think Alaska is always going to have a place in my heart for sure. I think we would always maybe get a condo here or something that we could come visit, maybe have an Airbnb situation that we come up and stay if we were to ever exit. I'm just getting the vibe as we get older. A lot of times we're sticking around places because you feel like this is where your network is and your friends and family are. And that's true. But sometimes you also have to think family wise. Like I'm thinking about the kids. I'm thinking about us and what kind of schooling they're going to get raised on, what kind of environment, what kind of friends, what kind of all these things. And frankly, our situation here, I don't love.
Interesting.
With like some of the kids that people hang out with and all that stuff, which I mean, you could change that by moving in the city, but I don't know. I'm just not really thrilled with the schools right now. And I'm just feeling like there should be some change to put your kids in the best situation to thrive. Right. And without being able to do homeschool right now, it might be elsewhere. So
where are you looking?
We were looking ideally northwest, but
okay, so like Seattle, Portland,
maybe like anywhere around there, Washington, Oregon, Idaho. But I mean, it's funny. Molly was just like, "Have you ever thought about like Nashville?" And I'm like, "Oh, I've mentioned this to you like a million times. How cool Nashville is."
Yeah, it is cool.
Like how great it is over there, and how beautiful all the seasons are, and North Carolina, South Carolina, all that area is beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, for the most part.
North Carolina, for sure. I do love North Carolina with Outer Banks,
there's tons of stuff around there that state. You got beaches, you got tons of a stupid amount of golf that you couldn't even imagine.
Oh, I would like
imagine. Thousands of courses within like a few miles, it seems like. And so I don't know. I don't know if that'll come to fruition, but it makes me think because we've worked hard on this podcast, and I'm not ready to just be like, oh, I'm moving. Let's abandon it. So
yeah, I'm the same way. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I've been thinking Los Angeles, and there's a couple reasons. One where there's a lot of stuff I want to learn in the filmmaking industry and the commercial directing industry that you can only learn so much up here, right? And so I actually booked a trip, which I actually just canceled yesterday because of the strikes going on in Los Angeles. Yeah. Yep. And so I was going to go down, and I was going to start to network. I was already sending out emails of just people like I respect what they do, and talk to them, and just try to start building a little network of just people I can I just know, right? And that's a weird way to start doing it, but I was like, I just want to get out. I want to start learning. I want to, get down there or somewhere where they're doing film. And I posted on Reddit. Now I don't do that very often, post on Reddit, but I
got
lurk.
Torched. Yeah.
No, I didn't get torched. It was a very everybody was, there was a couple people that were just like, so here's what I posted. Basically, I went to the film industry in LA subreddit, and I was like, hey, I just booked a flight. I want to come down. What is your advice? Who should I what should I do? I want to get into the industry, but I want to learn and then bring it back up to Alaska. But I want to learn from people who are doing what I'm doing, right? Because I feel like I've hit a sort of a ceiling. And up here, or and I just want to be around entertainment being made and sets and whatnot. Basically, everybody was like, don't come right now. Don't come right now. Put it on pause. It's like the strikes, people are like, we don't even know if we're going to have a job in 3 months, let alone next year, let alone when we don't know. A lot of people are leaving the film industry and starting new jobs. And so they're like, this is a very open time. We really don't know. So it got me thinking. And then one person posted on there, and it was really, really it was what I needed to hear, because I have been like, oh, my business it's not really exactly what I want to be doing. I can still do the podcast digitally, so I should move. And this guy was like, because I said a little bit about me in the post. I said, here's, I'm 33, I'm married, I run my own production company, I've directed a few commercials, some documentaries, I work for myself. And this person was like, why the hell would you throw that away? Why would you like leave that to start in a new place?
Sure.
He's like, right now the film industry is up in air. It's like, why don't you build something there, make something you want to make, and then send it to like LA Film Festival and then make those connections through that. And I was like, fuck, this guy is right. And so I've been looking at like, oh, hey, a move will help me change my problems, my issues with my business, or just like what's going on around me. And so I've been looking at like, I need to move. And then all of a sudden, like this one fucking comment was like, dude, you have it really well. A lot of us in the industry want what you have, but like, don't leave that. And so I was like, damn, okay. So I've only in the last several days changed my thought pattern to be like, instead of moving now, I'm not, and I was never looking at moving in the next year or so, but I eventually think that's probably where it needs to get there. But anyway, it's just interesting that you're kind of thinking that as well, because I feel like that's easy to do when we're in a flatlined time. Does that make sense? We're not really doing much.
When you're stagnant, you want change to try to like kickstart it.
And you called me out on that too, which was really good. Like a couple of weeks ago, I was like, we need to change everything about the podcast. We need to do this, and this, and change this, and then maybe we'll go over here and change that. And you're like, whoa. So it's like, you're like, it's easy to like want to change everything when it's stagnant. So when it's just me and you, it's like our downloads, our listeners are basically the same. When we have guests, it's all over the place, right? Big, small, whatever. But when it's just me and you, it's like the same, which is we love everybody listening, and we thank everybody who has ever downloaded an episode. But it is interesting how when you're in that stagnant time, you're like, I need to do something different. I need to do something big. I need to change something, because that'll be the issue.
That'll shake it up enough.
Exactly.
I mean, I get it. That's a common reaction to most things, is because I think we've been all raised to be taught that if you're not like growing, you're dying. If you're not, doing all this,
that's a good point.
You're behind everybody else if you're not innovating and working hard and stuff like that. And I mean, there's probably some truth to that, but for the most part, I think it's just all kind of like feast or famine kind of idea, where it's like, if you're not working hard, somebody's out working you. And it's true, but we're all just not gonna end up in the same place at the same time. So
I think there's always something that, sorry, before you move on, there's something that Gary Vaynerchuk said a long time ago that has always like stuck with me in the bad way. Is like, and no offense against Gary, I love Gary, and I think he's changed his philosophy since he's said this.
He's a piece of garbage.
Yeah, he's a piece of doo-doo. He said like, work on something, but also imagine someone who is working around the clock doing the exact same thing and wanting the exact same thing you are. And so when we were like building Cut and Caliber, or anything we were doing back in the day, I would always like think about that. So I'm staying up till 5 a.m. working on stuff, and waking up at 7:30 to go to work, and then do my full-time job, and then come home and wake up. It was awful. It was a horrible way to live. But there's still a little guy in the back of my head that says like, there's someone working,
and there
around the
always
clock.
Will.
And but I think it's being okay with that, and like rest and relaxation, I'm realizing, is actually a very smart thing to do.
Yeah,
who knew? Right? I mean, not me. That's for fucking sure.
I think the older you get, the wiser you get about certain things, and it's the classic kind of thing I always tell Aiden, and it's a saying, and it's also a Architect song, is that Youth is Wasted on the Young.
Oh yeah.
Just in the sense
Good
that
song.
like you don't realize what you have, and you won't until it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that stuff is your your health and wellness and all in your body, and all these things will deteriorate over time if you don't take care of them. And so when you're 60, I was just talking to a guy the other day. He's like, I really wish I never found skiing and football. And I was like, why? He's like, my body hurts like constantly. He's like, I thought I was invincible when I was about 20.
Oh, interesting.
And I never thought I would live to be 50. So I was not worried about it. And so now he's 50 and he's like, man, my body freaking hurts like all the time.
Damn.
And and I get that mindset too, where I'm like, you got to live fast and hard because you don't know when your last day is, but God forbid you live to 90 and your body's a wreck because you didn't take care of it. That would suck.
I'm feeling it today. I went to boxing. I box. I don't know if you knew that. I box. I'm a boxer.
Yep. I've heard.
Anyway, my lower back is fucking on fire today.
Yeah.
It's like when you're stretching and when you're not like twisting, you're supposed to twist your whole body, but I get into the thing where I plant my feet and then I just twist my torso, and it just puts so much strain on my lower back. So I'm like, and like even today we were trying to work it out, and I was like, dude, it's just making it fucking worse. I'm like, I'm getting so old. But then like 5 years ago, let alone 3 years ago, I was like not even thinking about this kind of stuff. And now it's like maybe I do one thing or I just sleep wrong or something. I'm just it was just getting old, and I'm okay with that. I'm excited about it, but also at the same time, now I'm like, I'm just now getting wise. I mean, maybe not, probably not, and just being like, wiser. Thank you. And just being like, oh, I should actually like work out multiple times a week. Because even at the beginning of this podcast, I was like, I didn't work out at all. So,
that reminds me of one of my favorite lyrics for 4 Years Strong.
Oh, nice. Good band.
A great band.
Based off, like we based the intro music of this podcast off of 4 Years Strong.
It's true.
It was one of the intro inspirations we sent.
It's pop punk hardcore. The song's Maniac ROD, but I always love this lyric. It says, I've always heard that the good die young. There's little time left to prove them wrong. And essentially saying that we're getting older, and if you're going to die young, you shouldn't get old. Does that make sense? And so he's saying that there's little time before I'm too old to prove that wrong. And I was like, that's true. As we're almost 40 now, it's like, you're no longer going to say, Kyle died young or something. You'd be like, he's 40. It happens. And so it's crazy. Life and death is weird. We've talked about it a lot with losses in our life and people. And I don't know. It makes me think, I hate thinking legacy because I don't care about that per se for me, but at least, being there for your spouse and your kids and all that stuff, I want to be more mindful of that. And I feel like it's starting to sink in more as I get older that like, you gotta be a good example and try to leave your kids or friends or family like with, I don't know, like I want to leave an imprint on them of good stuff.
Yeah.
And so,
you want to be, you don't want to leave a legacy. Like you don't want to build
for
something
like others. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to build a legacy for like the people around you, the immediate, like what we'll say, like the circles, the rings, right? Remember we talked about that years ago or whatever.
Big old ring. Yep.
Right. So it's like you have your first ring around you and it's your core friends and family. And then you have another ring and another ring and another ring. And so like the farther it gets out, of course they're not super familiar with you, but like, the closest ring is your core, what Tim Ferriss would say, the 5 people you hang out with plus your family.
Yeah.
And then go on from there. It is interesting how, I've been thinking about that a lot. I think it's just, with I've been growing a lot, and I've shared about a little bit on here is, there's been a lot that's happened this year And so I've taken a step back from work and been like, is this really what I want to do? And I think that's one of the biggest questions anybody should ask themselves. And I think I'm at like a, you know, a
Crossroads?
why, a crossroads. Yeah. I could keep going down this route. I did this thing called the Odyssey Plan. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
So the Odyssey Plan, it's based off of this book. It was based off the Odyssey, but it's based off this book. I think it's called like Dream Your Life or something. Now, I didn't buy the book or I didn't read the book. I just kind of looked into what this plan was. So basically what it is it's a 5-year plan, but you write out it 3 different ways. The first 5 years, you kind of write it like you're on the same path. Hey, if I don't change anything today, what does my life look like in the next 5 years? And then the next one, you write it if you changed what you wanted to change, right? So say you did like a big decision, what would that look like in 5 years? And so you write all this stuff out. And then the third thing, so you do this again a third time, but if time and money was no option, right? If you could just do anything you wanted to do. So basically, and what you're supposed to do with all 3 of those is basically find the things that when you were writing it feel the best and then put those all into one. And then there's your 5-year plan. And so I kind of did that roughly. I didn't do it to like, that extent, but it's basically a rough draft. And it's like, oh, okay. So it's been a lot of soul searching and a lot of like, life changing. And I find myself in this area every once in a while, every few years, and I have to do something different, right? A couple of years ago, it was like finding my core values. This year was like planning out like, hey, what is my next step? And I don't know what that, I was like, I didn't know what that was. I just was like, I feel like I need to make a change. What is that change? I don't know. So I needed to answer those questions. It's been a lot of season of growth. And, and with that comes the idea of like, maybe I need to move, right? And so I've been thinking like, I got obsessed with like looking at property in LA or around LA, looking at jobs. I applied to some LA jobs. I got denied very quickly.
Almost immediately. It was scary.
Dude, honestly, when I say applied, I didn't like really work hard on them. I was just like, maybe, I like uploaded like a resume I made last year, and then like filled out the like about me section, right? It was like very simple stuff. And then within like, so I applied to like Disney and Paramount, like bigger studios. And I'm like, I want to be on lot, right? I think that would be amazing. And Disney, I applied to 2 different positions within, it had to have been 24 hours, like immediate. They must have like AI on there. Big old no. And like, I don't have a degree. So I think it's like one of the requirements is like a degree.
Yeah.
So if they like, this is how I picture it is like they have an AI who just scrapes all the applicants and is like, just, if they don't have these things, get rid of them.
Why don't you put a degree on your resume?
I should.
Why
just
not?
like fucking Joel McHale and Community.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying like chances are of them checking. And even if they check, you're still going to get the same answer.
That's a good point.
At least get into the door.
Yeah. I could put like a fake
degree of hard knocks, like everybody puts on Facebook. Where'd you go to college?
What is
degree
that?
Of hard knocks.
Me and Alicia, I talked about this a while ago. Me and Alicia watched Accepted.
Yeah.
The Stanford.
Where they make their own school.
Yeah, the Stanford South Harmon Institute of Technology.
Oh,
shit.
Yeah.
I was like, that maybe I should do something like that.
Why not?
I've been watching Suits. I'm only on the second or third episode. I don't know. It just keeps popping up on Netflix. So I watched it the other day, and the guy doesn't go to Harvard, but like basically pretends like he did, and that's how he gets the job.
Right.
And so I was like, damn, he's smart. Well, he is
Respect
really smart
the
on the show. But
yeah, it's I've been watching so little TV and movies.
Oh
like
no!
I just am not consuming nothing.
Actually, or no. I mean, maybe that's good.
I mean, so 2 things that I'm really proud. I am watching a lot of YouTube though. Like,
okay,
but
are you learning
different.
on YouTube?
Some, yeah, some are entertainment, like golf stuff or whatever. But I find myself caring so much less about social media. Like, I don't even. TikTok was kind of a time suck for me. Every once in a while, I pick it up and just scroll.
I don't even
now I'm
go
like,
to
I don't
TikTok
even
anymore.
pick it up.
Yeah.
I'm so burnt out on like the constant attention it demands. Yep. And then I'm also trying to be very careful, since we don't let Aiden have social media. I'm trying to be very careful not to be hypocritical in his face and be on social media
just like
while he's
scrolling while he's sitting right there.
Look at this. Jealous. Look at that. All day. Look at that chick. Yeah, not for you. Yeah. So I'm trying to be mindful because
that's good.
Every once in a while, sometimes I'll be on my phone just like passively, and Caroline will be trying to get my attention, like daddy, and I always try to not let her say it. Well, yeah, that's what I start with. I try not to let her like say it twice. Like if she says daddy, then I like think to put the phone down and like give her my attention. And so I just don't want to be that guy that's like on his phone. And then it's like, dad. And it's like, what? I'm looking at Instagram or something.
You see this? You see this?
Yeah. Middle fingers from Steven to the child.
Oh yeah. Yeah. People listening. Yeah. Just right in the kid's face.
So I'm just like trying not to, I don't know, try to put junk in my head right now.
Smart.
Try to clear some stuff out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of junk.
That is exactly where I'm at too. I am watching a lot more. It's funny that you say the thing about social media. I've been doing this thing where I put my phone on do not disturb mode a lot more than I used to.
Yeah.
And especially like we went to Seward, we talked about it last week, but I like basically brought my phone with me, but I put it on do not disturb mode, and I, tried really hard not to check it. There were times where like Alicia's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, I'm going to check my phone, check. And then of course, like there's no text, there's no the replies.
Weird. My phone must be broken.
Yeah. Well, it must not have service. That's probably, it must not have service. So I've been doing that same thing too. And the one thing I have been doing is this app called Forest. You ever heard about this? I think it's called Forest. I don't even have my phone on me right now.
See the forest from the trees?
Maybe I've talked about it on here, but basically you put it on, it's the focus timer. You put it on a timer for however long you want to work on this thing, 25 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. And then you basically, if you don't pick up your phone, if you don't get off the app, right? Say if you pick it up in that, once you start it, you pick it up and you get out of the app, it'll be like, you failed. And then
you're losing. Yeah.
And then, but if you go to like the 15 minutes or whatever time you set it, it'll put a little tree. It'll plant a little tree on this like digital acre, right? And so if you fail, it'll put a dead tree, and if you go, it'll put a live tree. And so I've been kind of doing that a couple times this week specifically. Of just like I find myself reading, and then I'll be like, just one. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's like I almost feel like, oh, I need to pick it up. I need to look at, something. And there's no vibration. There's no like notification. Right. And I'm like, literally I get to a point with a book where I'm like, bored. I like will like want to look at it. But since that app is going, I'm like, God damn it. Okay. Read it, Steven. Read.
I need that tree.
I need the tree. And I've been also doing like this thing called Habitica. Habitica. I can't remember. I don't know how you say it. It's turning habits and your to-do list into a game. So it's very similar, right? So it's another way of like, I like the whole idea of making like your to-do list a game instead of just like, I have notebooks where I put my to-do list, but I've been starting to put my to-do list in this little app, and you have a little character, and then you put everything that you want to do daily. So like I want to write, I want to drink water, eat healthy, work out. I don't want to drink every day. I want to whatever. So you put all those things in there. You can put your to-do list in there. You can put your monthly things in there. And once you do a positive thing, then your character, like, you get more experience, and you can buy like a little sword. Yeah, a little sword. You can buy a little, shirt or whatever. It's gamifying your to-do list. And then if you have so you can do that for your daily habits. And if you say like, I'm trying not to drink Monday through Thursday. And so if I drink on Wednesday, I'll just like, oh, I drank. And then like my experience goes down.
Say goodbye to your sword, Steven. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well, I can't get the new double-edged platinum sword.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the idea of like making things fun and not like forcing yourself to, like, when we were doing the 100-day challenge earlier this year, I think there's a lot of aspects in that I just did not like, because I hated like going somewhere and if I wanted a drink, but I couldn't. And so I would like have to like, and I would resent myself. Like, why are you doing this? And so I like making this stuff. I know I should do it, but making it fun. So it's just, I'm trying stuff out, new stuff, new things. But I'm still watching a bunch of TV and movies. I've been watching a movie a day basically for the last week.
Jeez. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I was just talking to somebody that I just like have not found any movie that I'm like, I really need to watch this or see it.
You seen Oppenheimer yet?
No.
I think that's something you would really like.
I would. I just am not going to go to the theater. Like, I'm just not going to take the time to do that. I want to see that one scary movie.
The vampire one.
Talk to Me. Oh, that one too.
I really want to see Talk to Me.
Is it Talk to Me?
Yes.
With the hand and I was like,
I've been like waiting for that to come out digitally.
Yeah,
I haven't been going to the theater, but I really want to see that.
The last something of the Demeter, the last.
Yep, that's the one I thought you were talking about. Yep.
Yeah, the vampire one.
Where it's like Dracula.
That'd be dope. Yeah,
yep, I want to see that one. I just started. I'm on a 1980s kick. I love 80s movies, and so I've been doing masterclass, and like one of the assignments was like, watch movies that you like why do you like them? And so I've been going through like a bunch of 1980s. I watched The Breakfast Club the other day, which I've seen, but I didn't really like. Why do I like that movie? What is it about The Breakfast Club that I like? What is it about Ferris Bueller? What is it about Jaws? Right. And so I started today Poltergeist. Never seen it. Never seen it. Have you seen it before?
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I don't know why. I'm like, it's a Steven Spielberg. It's like Steven Spielberg wrote the fucking thing. And I'm like, how did I not watch this ever?
It's kind of like, I think it gets mixed up with The Exorcist.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could see that.
Not mixed up per se, but it's just like Poltergeist. Like, I don't know. I've always kind of like confused the two when I was a kid. And
I don't know. I just, for some reason,
I just don't feel like it gets enough credit.
Yeah. I'm excited. It's just starting to get like, I just started it today. So, I mean, I'm only like less than a half hour into it, but I'm like, all right, I can feel it. Like, I feel like the nostalgia already. And so I'm into that, but, yeah. Anything coming up that you're excited about? Changing gears real quick.
Yeah. I am going on a big golf trip here in 1 month and 13 days.
Woo.
Yeah. It should be life-changing. It's going to be awesome.
Where you going?
Pebble Beach in Monterey, California.
I have played Pebble. I played Pebble Beach in the Tiger Woods.
Yes.
Thingamajig. Yeah. I know. Yeah, so I know. I've been there.
It's a classic,
Yeah.
It's going to be magical. It'll be one of those, I mean, a legit bucket trip list.
Is this like, how many days are you going for, you said?
Like 5 days.
Okay. So that's a pretty good time.
Yeah, and it's with a couple buddies that we've done golf stuff together since we were 17. So it's, like a good, get some super nice bourbon for the trip. We got a couple of Lexuses we rented that we're going to be just
nice.
It's going to be wild. Yeah.
Oh, baby.
That's what I've heard. I haven't confirmed everything yet, but it'll be just nice to be out there on a legendary place and with some buddies and live in the moment for a little bit before reality sets in. So
are you gonna bring your camera, document it, or are you just gonna like take some pics?
I don't know. I feel like it would be cool to make like a little short thing about it, just a little video.
Yeah, a little documentary.
But I also like don't want to be taken out of the moment either.
Yeah, I feel that. That's another reason why I've been putting my camera away. Like I spent the last. I mean, it's funny. I was thinking about this because of Maui. Maui's on fire right now. And the last 2 times I was there, I was focused on videoing a lot to like document the trip and everything. And I'm grateful for that. But also at the same time, like I remember being like, Alicia, let's do that again. Can you walk different? Can you walk over here instead of over there? Or can you look back at me when you're, whatever? And it's like, I mean, I really wish I would have not had my camera on that trip. So we're heading to East Coast, New York. We're going to go to Philadelphia and New York City and see the parents and all that stuff. And so I'm like, I'm not going to bring my camera, even though I want to. And I feel like I need to. But like, I'm also like, I just need to be in the moment.
I feel like
it's a catch-22. It's like I want to, and I want to make this cool thing to remember it by, but also I don't want to because I want to be there in the moment, and it's really hard sometimes.
Yeah, I'm thinking very few clips, but lots of clips. Or very short clips, but lots of clips. Just like catch little tidbits and not like think it out too hard about like I want this scene to happen. Almost just like a slideshow of short videos. Yeah, it's kind of like what I want to do. Because, yes, I don't want to be taken out of the moment by trying to think about like, hey, can you go back and walk across this area again? Like, I just want to catch natural things that are happening, and then that's it. And that's for me. So
nice. I love that.
That's it.
Well, I'm excited. I think this fall and the winter is just I'm excited because there's a lot of stuff that's gonna happen. We're gonna start doing more stuff. I want to get back into making Kyle and Steven videos too. Yep.
We need to hop on that pony.
Yeah, but I think when we make stuff together, like, so I've been thinking like, we can wrap on this. Is like, what are the feelings I like the most? So I wrote down a bunch of the stuff that I'm like, Cut and Caliber launch party. Right. Mm-hmm. That kind of stuff. Like I love that feeling of like putting something on and having people show up and enjoy what we created or put together. But also like working on funny short videos like we did. Like I want to chase those feelings because like there's something that makes me feel good about them. So I want to do that. We got to talk more about that off the podcast or on the podcast. I don't know. But I think that should be something we should dive into this winter as well. Give us a winter project to work on. Do multiple little videos. I think it's going to be a
busy winter. Lots of growth and momentum, and some laughing, some crying, some who knows.
I hope all of it.
Yeah, that's life. And so we're all pretty lucky to be alive right now, and so utilize it. That's how I'm ending it,
I like it. That's a good way to end this podcast, man.
All right, buddy. Well, we will get together here soon. And like everybody else, go check out GoFixYourselfPodcast.com. Go get yourself a mug, a shirt, a hoodie, whatever the FIX you want. We got a lot going on there. We'd love to send some merch out your guys' way, and we will be back next week with a guest and Kyle Harrington, and you will get sound bathed up. Listen to the podcast in your bathtub without your clothes and get ready to get
wait a minute,
whatever he does with the
were they in the bathtub with their clothes on?
Maybe,
okay.
Hot tubs.
Whatever people are into, I guess. But yeah, no, get in your bathtub, no clothes on it. Make sure you listen to the podcast next week.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks for tuning in. Kyle and Steven will be back with a new episode next week. In the meantime, check out GoFixYourselfPodcast.com. And remember to always go fix yourself.